Yo! What's up, Mooch Crew? It's Alan Machola here. And before we get started, I'd like to say that the opinions in this video are all mine, and I was not biased by anyone else's opinions, and nor will I ever be biased by anyone else's opinions. With that out of the way, let's get started. So, for this Wildcard Wednesday video, I'm sounding off on the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series All-Star Race, along with some other things that NASCAR has done lately. Okay, so before we get to the All-Star Race, I'd like to say that my opinions of the heat races in the Xfinity Series race are boring. Just boring. And here's why. Because, okay, I get it. It's so that way the Xfinity drivers can actually get some can be exposed to the media, to the fans, and more. That. Well, I hate to say it, but they don't work. They don't work. Heat races belong on the dirt tracks. And that's where they should stay. If you want to do heat racing, then go put an Xfinity Series race on the dirt tracks where the heat races rightfully belong and should stay. Now, the chase format for the Xfinity Series is actually four drivers less than the Sprint Cup Series. So, but the win to get in format doesn't work in the Xfinity Series. What do you even get with that? The Sprint Cup drivers dominate, and that's a problem. Okay? Get rid of the heat races. Don't put the chase format in the Xfinity Series. It doesn't work. I could see the older chase format being in the Xfinity Series, but with all these Sprint Cup drivers dominating, why even bother putting a tournament into the Xfinity Series? It does not work. I mean, it works for the Campbell Road Truck Series because you don't see regulars attacking that all the time, and all the truck regulars can actually win to get in. That doesn't make sense. That's almost like me saying, "Hey, I have a girlfriend, but I don't have a girlfriend." So, like, seriously, that's just weird as all get out. Why would I say something and then contradict myself? That's the Xfinity Series, and that's the chase tournament in the Xfinity Series. It doesn't belong because the Sprint Cup regulars are attacking it and winning the races all the time. It does not work. I mean, sure, you could say it's going to be for exciting racing. It's going to make an interesting championship battle. But that's just on paper. I'm ready to sound off on something else right now. Before we move on to the All-Star race, I want to go off on the caution clock. The caution clock. Yes, the Campbell Road Truck Series has a caution clock now. And here's how this works. Every green flag run is going to be 20 minutes. If the timer reaches 0 before a wreck happens, well, if this is confusing me too. Here's why. The caution clock is 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes of green flag racing, and when the caution clock hits 0, you got a competition caution, meaning the caution clock has hit 0, and they throw a caution, and then they reset it to 20 minutes, and then they run it again. What? How does that work? Now, I would say, fine, let's do this. Now, but here's where it gets weird. If a crash happens before the caution clock hits 0, they reset it to 20 minutes and then run it again when the green flag flies. If the truck race hits 20 laps to go, there is no caution clock. Caution clock has not applied. I'm sorry. Are you confused? Good, because I am too. I don't like it. This, again, is another idea that sounds good on paper. On paper. Once executed, it's bad. It's a bad idea. You can say what you want, but I think the caution clock is a dumb idea. Along with that and the Xfinity Heat races with the Xfinity Chase tournament. Okay? Now I got those NASCAR sound-offs out of the way. I'm ready for some pure sound-off. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved the action on the racetrack from Saturday night. You had 3 wide, you had 4 wide four wide passing for the lead. You had battles all over the raceway. You had a battle going all the way down to near the end of the race until Larson hit the wall outside. No, let me rephrase that. Outside wall on the backstretch, finishing 16th. Well, I loved that part. Crashes, attitude, flair, boys have that. That's All-Star Race. That's the All-Star Race in my opinion. Unfortunately, I will explain why it got overshadowed later. But can I just give a resounding round of applause for all the action on the track? Great. Now that I got that out of the way. The action was overshadowed by confusion. Yeah. The All-Star Race got overshadowed. All the good action, the 4 wide passing, the battles, and everything else got overshadowed by confusion. NASCAR officials did not anticipate this coming. Well, nobody anticipated this coming. It was all just a bunch of gimmicks. What? I'm sorry. Gimmicks do not work at any race. It's like you're trying to become the X Games or something. I'm sorry. And the last time I checked, that's the only time gimmicks work, I guess. And this was not just me. Because, actually, no, this was everyone else. Because I let the action on the raceway overshadow the confusion. Now that I go and read the media, everyone else is sounding off on the confusion instead of praising the action that happened on the raceway. That's sad. That is legitimately sad. I mean, okay, fine. I get it. You guys are mad. That's brilliant. That's great. But and I get it. I hear your anger. Because even I said, if this format fails, I say we just get rid of all the gimmicks, let the crew chiefs work their magic, and really let boys have at it. Okay, that's just my opinion. I'm one of those people who enjoy the boys have at it attitude. I enjoy fights seeing fights after the race. Seriously, the 2012 Phoenix race, seriously, one of the best brawls ever! Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Am I going to sound off on anything else? Just one more thing. I have bitten my tongue from making a video on this for 5 years now. Why? Because I was afraid that someone was going to get pissed off. And you know what? I don't care anymore. I do not legitimately care anymore. Because this needs to be addressed. I have been on Facebook. And I have made my rants. I have preached my message. And I'm going to tell the same message I say on Facebook that I'm going to say here. Danica Patrick needs to leave NASCAR. And here's why. I know what you are thinking. Danica Patrick, no! Yes! Danica Patrick needs to go. And here's why. Everyone's like, oh, Danica Patrick's a good race car driver. Well, let me ask you something. Why is she there in the first place? I have some answers. GoDaddy. You can thank GoDaddy.com for that. And you can also thank, I don't know, it was a business move. It was nothing more than a business move. Okay, fine. You're a female that can that wants to drive race cars. Good. I appreciate that. I applaud you. Go chase your dreams. But at least show some initiative, show some competitiveness, and show fire, and show us that you want to be in the series. This is where I get pissed off. I don't care about race, about sexual preferences. I don't care about religion. So, let me just throw that all on the table. Let me throw that all on the table. Before you all get mad at me, I don't care if you're a female. I don't care what your sexual preference is. I don't care where you come from. I don't care about your skin color. I don't care what you stand for in your political beliefs. I don't care what flag your nation you represent. It's like, okay, Darrell Wallace Jr., he's African American. Fine. Just do your job. Do your job well, perform, and show me that you want to be in NASCAR. Daniel Suarez, he's from Mexico. Cool. Show me that you want to be here in NASCAR. Show me that you want to run in NASCAR. Show me you want to become a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver. Okay? See? I will give you at least 3 years. I'll give you 3 years. Every driver gets 3 years from me. And basically, I just sounded off and said Danica Patrick didn't belong from the get-go. Why? It was a business move. Like I said. If she had come for the racing, I would be like, okay, fine. Go at it. I'll give you 3 years. I can wait. I can wait before I finally sound off. And now I'm ready for a sound off. The ultimate Danica Patrick sound off. Ready? She should not be in NASCAR. And like I said, she's not competitive. It was the business move. She's a field filler. And why is she in NASCAR again? Okay. Now, before we go any further, let me just tell you something. I'm going to share with you a Facebook post I made yesterday, shortly after I found out Danica Patrick was voted into the All-Star race. On a video, here's my comment. Good job, Danica. Robbing drivers who deserve an All-Star spot out of it, like Ryan Blaney, like Matt DiBenedetto. I really wanted to see Matt DiBenedetto drive the Reddit car, so that's why I brought Matt DiBenedetto up. Get out of NASCAR. You have overstayed your welcome. You weren't a NASCAR driver. You're not a NASCAR driver, and you never will be. We don't want you here anymore. I'm sick of all the media attention you get. You're a field filler, and you always will be a field filler. And then, a few moments later, here's what a person said. The name will remain anonymous. Okay, if they quote unquote deserved it, then why would they with A, be in the points, or B, have enough fans to vote them in? The drivers you have listed have neither. Oh, and by the way, everyone after the winner is a field filler. Without them, there is no winner. So I shot back with this. At least the rest of those quote-unquote field fillers can race, Blaney included, putting emphasis on can race. Danica Patrick cannot race. Okay, And then today, I find out Danica Patrick finished 15th in the All-Star race. That's like near the back of the field in the All-Star race because of the small field. So here's what I said: 15th. She gets voted in, and she gets voted in, and she puts in a 15th place effort. And everyone questions me for saying Danica Patrick doesn't belong in NASCAR. Why? And then I followed up with this. Also, I'd like to point out that not once during the MRN coverage on MRN.com did I hear Danica Patrick's name mentioned. Nope. Not even once. So basically, we have a driver who gets voted in and yet doesn't even perform. That pisses me off. Because you have great names in the field. Trevor Bayne, he showed up and finished 7th. 7th! That's performance. He's been performing in this race. He won to get in. He won a showdown segment to get in. He's led laps this season. He's performing this season. The Roush team is stepping up a little bit. They're getting better. They're going to eventually get some more wins. I don't know who it's going to be with. If it's going to be with Trevor Bayne or Ricky Stenhouse Jr. or maybe Greg Biffle. Maybe not Greg Biffle. Maybe Ricky Stenhouse Jr. or Trevor Bayne. But other than that. Now, listen to all the drivers that have won at Stewart-Haas Racing. Kevin Harvick. Me. And then you got races where Kurt Busch could have won. You've got races where Tony Stewart has run. You got, oh my gosh, it's just awful. Stewart-Haas Racing only has 2 drivers that have actually been performing this season. Danica Patrick is not one of them. Why? Because she's terrible. She cannot race, people. You people just think she can race. And all I know what you're saying. Oh, no. Be patient. Just keep being patient. Well, newsflash. I have been patient. I have bitten my tongue from making this video for 5 years now. Actually, yeah, 5 years. I've bitten my tongue for 4 years. 4 years since Danica Patrick's been in NASCAR. And you know what? I think it's officially time that I let it out. My opinions need to be heard, and you all need to understand where I stand on this. This pisses me off that drivers that rightfully deserve a spot in the All-Star race, they don't get the spot because they get robbed by Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick is a seat filler. She's a seat filler. It's like one of those things that it pisses me off to think that even people would be like, oh, the woman deserves to be in because she's a female driver. No. If you perform, you deserve in. DiBenedetto, sure, I get it. He's for an underfunded team. That's something I can understand. But Danica Patrick is in high-end equipment team of Stewart-Haas Racing. They have high equipment. They have Hendrick Field. They're going to have high equipment Ford equipment next year. Danica Patrick does not perform. No. You people are like, I can understand. Okay, again. Chris Buescher, he's with an underfunded team. I can understand that. DiBenedetto, Reagan, they're for an underfunded team. I can understand that. But if you're telling me that a driver that can... this is what pisses me off. People are like, she's got high-end equipment, she's a great driver. No! The only reason she's in is because it's a business move. It was a business move. It was a business move then. It's a business move now. It always will be a business move. And she's not going to win. I cannot wait for the day I forget Danica Patrick was ever at the raceway. And sure, no one else is going to forget. I'm going to because she did not perform. If you don't perform, I'm more likely to forget you. You were ever in a race car. Just think about this. Kyle Petty admits that he wasn't a great driver. that he was not a great driver. Okay? I understand that. He had high-end RPM equipment. Well, more like Petty Enterprises equipment. But whatever. He didn't perform. Okay? He didn't win. He didn't win championships. He won a few races here and there. That's great. But even he said Danica Patrick cannot race. Why don't you people listen to him? Why don't you people listen to me? Because I'm actually making sense here. Danica Patrick should be gone at the end of the season. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to see a headline where Tony Stewart goes to Danica Patrick and is like, yeah, you're not performing, so we're gonna have to fire you, and you know your way out the door. Nice knowing you. We'll find a new driver. See ya. That opens the door for someone else. You can put Chris Buescher in that car. You could put Ryan Newman back in the 10 car and reunite the Indiana boys. Well, Tony Stewart came from Indiana, so did Ryan Newman, and they're good friends. So, yeah, that would happen. That would be nice. That would put Ty Dillon in the 31 car, and you all can have something else to complain about. The Dillon boys. You know what? Screw it. I like seeing the number 3 car back on the raceway. And you people can get off Austin Dillon's back because he's actually performing this year. He's got a chance to make the chase. He's got a chance to win a race this season. How many times do you guys have to get on Dillon for being in the 3 car? The 3 car was not originally Dale Sr.'s number. The 3 car was originally Richard Childress' number until Dale Sr. stepped in 81. Think about that. And now I know what a lot of you are thinking. I'm not going off on Chase Elliott. You know what? Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson are my two favorite drivers this season. I'm going to give Chase Elliott 3 years before I sound off on him. Kyle Larson, we're in 3rd year already. If Kyle Larson is going to win, he better do it soon. And if Chase Elliott's going to win, well, it's going to happen. I don't know when, but it is going to happen. So there is that. Going back to the confusion of the All-Star race, real quick. Tony Stewart said this was the most screwed up All-Star race. And you know what? I'm thankful Kyle Larson did not win. Because this All-Star race is going to be one to remember. For all the wrong reasons. Well, that's my 2 cents on everything going on in NASCAR. Between the caution clocks, Danica Patrick, and everything else. So, you know what? I'm really glad I finally got a chance to sound off on this stuff. Until my next Wildcard Wednesday video, I'm Alan Majoli. I will see you guys in my next video, whenever it may be. Stay random, Mooch Crew. And don't forget to crash the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. And peace out.